Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, November 9th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with AEW Dynamite broadcast live last night on TBS from the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. The program opened with MJF making his ninth defense of his record-setting 355-day title reign by submitting Daniel Garcia in 10 minutes and 37 seconds with the Salt of the Earth armbar. The other title match on the show saw ROH World Television Champion Samoa Joe turn back the challenge of Keith Lee by referee stoppage in 11 minutes and 25 seconds as Joe had Lee trapped in a choke. After the match, Joe declared that he was vacating the TV title to concentrate on winning the AEW World Championship from MJF.
I said, hunger is what defines the greats. Well, consider me officially hungry. As of tonight, I vacate the ROH Television Championship.
Oh, what? What the hell? What is he? Wow, what is this about?
Because the next gold that is going to be on my shoulder will be the AEW World Championship, whether you like it or not, Max.
Joe won the ROH TV title from Minoru Suzuki on the April 13th, 2022 edition of Dynamite and has made 18 successful defenses during his 574-day reign. The main event of the show saw Jay White pin Mark Briscoe. After the match, MJF hit the ring to try and retrieve his AEW Championship belt, but White evaded him. As MJF cut a promo on White, a video began playing on the entrance screen which showed 4 masked assailants beating up the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn backstage, with Max Caster being thrown through a glass window. Swerve Strickland defeated Penta El Zero Miedo. After the match, Hangman Adam Page, who had been barred from ringside, attacked Strickland. Strickland tried to escape up the ramp, but Page followed him, hitting him several times with a steel chair before delivering a deadeye off the ramp and through a table.
Hangman! Swerve! Thought he was away, but instead Hangman cracking Swerve with the chair. Yeah, Swerve's in trouble here.
Yeah, you think Hangman's done now? You're wrong. He's not going to let up. He's like a man possessed. He's crazy. Here comes security finally.
Well, Hangman, can't blame him. You can't blame him, but Hangman's got to be careful. I mean, he could be jeopardizing things for his match. Wait a second.
Well, watch the deadeye. He's going to go deadeye. Oh, my God.
The deadeye. The tables. And now look at Hangman.
During a promo segment, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega faced off with the Young Bucks prior to their street fight on next week's Dynamite.
This attitude that you brought into this room, trying to claim that Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega can't rise to the challenge to beat the Young Bucks, we can do it. So if you guys really want to face us, if you really want to do this tag team thing all over again, we'll do it. And then maybe you'll clean up your act, and maybe, quite frankly, you'll start acting like real adults instead of a bunch of sissy, whiny, bitchy children.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
Wow. Right. But I think you had to hear it from someone like me. That's what I think. All right? So see you in LA.
Okay.
I'll be happy to take you to the woodshed, beat your little spoiled brat asses. And by the way, I have my own dressing room.
In other results, Julia Hart defeated Red Velvet. This was the first match for Velvet since last February as she made her in-ring return following a knee injury. Darby Allin and Sting defeated the Outrunners team of Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, and the Gunn brothers squashed the Bollywood Boys in under a minute. Also on the show, Mariah May debuted during an interview segment with RJ City and declared her intentions to meet Toni Storm. May wrestled her last match in Japan for the Stardom promotion on September 30th. It was also announced that this Friday's edition of AEW Rampage will air live on TNT from the Oakland Arena in Oakland, California. After the live airing, the company will pre-tape Saturday night's edition of AEW Collision. In ratings news, NXT saw a nearly 15% increase in viewership this week, with 794,000 viewers tuning in last Tuesday night on USA Network, according to WrestleNomics. That's up from last week's total viewership of 674,000, and it's the highest overall viewership since October 17th. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was .26, up from last week's .20 key demo rating. Tuesday's demo equated to 347,000 viewers, which is the highest total since October 10th. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.